Hello, I am Nimja, and this is Safety Guidelines. This file you don't have to be in trance for. In fact, I recommend that you listen to this at least once while fully awake. The most important thing is that your mind is your responsibility. The guidelines that I will mention help you, but they are not all-encompassing or the answer to every question. Please remember that your mind is your responsibility. Now we begin with the part before a session. Before you're listening to a file or want to do a session with someone in person or over Skype. In person, it's very important to discuss limits, wants, and needs. It's vitally important that you take the time to think about things that you want and things that you don't want. Do you want to be touched? Do you want to show yourself? Do you want erotic or non-erotic? It is very important to discuss consent with the person that is going to hypnotize you, and discuss intent. What are they planning to do? And if at any point you feel that your worries are not being respected, don't be afraid to leave. Remember that you know your mind best. Now for recordings, it's a different matter. Recordings cannot suddenly change. So rather than listening to one and immediately going with it, if you're unsure, try to listen to it without going into trance. See if what is said in the description is also actually in the file, and no naughty things are happening. And speaking of descriptions, check if a file has a detailed description. Do they mention triggers or intended effects? Do they mention what kind of lasting effects they might have? Does it have reviews or comments? Have people mentioned it before, or do you know people who've listened to something? Recordings are unchangeable, but it doesn't make them not dangerous. It just means that you can do some effort to explore if a file is okay. Let's move on to during a session. When you're doing a session with someone, either in person or over Skype, speak up if something feels wrong. Trust your instincts. It's okay to say no. In fact, it's very important to tell someone when something is off, because they may not be aware of your feelings. It can help to have a guardian, someone who stands on the sideline that you trust, that watches over the session, that doesn't participate in it. And know that you can say stop, or you can wake up if something is really wrong. Trust your subconscious to tell you that if something feels off, it usually means that it is. When you are doing a session in person, also remember if you've set limits for that session, and if someone is crossing them, speak up, let them know. Now for recordings, it's a bit simpler, because you can always pause or stop the recording if you feel uncomfortable. You have no obligation to finish everything or like everything. A recording is there to be listened to when and how you want it. There is no obligation towards you as the listener in how you consume the recording. Let's move on to after the session. If it was a session with someone in person or over Skype, it's okay to ask for aftercare. Take your time after you rise up from trance. A lot of people need time to get back to themselves again, and even though the wake-up snap is all nice and well, their mind can remain fuzzy for a while. It's also a really good time to share some feedback from both sides. Let them tell you what you did well or maybe what they feel could change, and let them have some feedback back. What did you like? What did you not like? Communication is always good. And again, don't be afraid to mention if something feels off. The person who hypnotized you, no matter how long they know you, can still make mistakes. You can help them by telling them about those mistakes. Now for a recording, afterwards all you have to do is decide if you liked it or not. Now if you liked it, you might want to tell someone about it or things like that, but that's entirely up to you. And in both cases, both for a recording or with a person, reflect back. A day or multiple days after a session, try to look back at what happened. Do you still like what happened? Can you remember everything now a little bit later? Do you feel good about what happened, or did something feel off? And if something felt off, can you pinpoint what it was? After the euphoria has passed, it's easier to actually reflect, to look back. Now lastly, while I want to mention safety files, I also want to say that you shouldn't depend on them too much. Safety files are a help, a guide, and sometimes and even can give you a trigger that can help you in an emergency. But they are not the answer to everything. In the end, it is your mind that has to learn to rise up from a trance when needed, to wake when it's important to speak up. And now finally I will mention some files that I've made, but know that I'm not the only one who makes safety files. Feel free to look up and try to learn ways of how to protect yourself. Deep Reset that I've made is an example of removing effects in progress or triggers. Red Flag is a file that can help you snap out of trance when you need it. But remember, you have to learn to do it yourself. Recovery Care is a file that can help you if you feel particularly unbalanced after a session, if something was too intense or you feel off. You can listen to it and help. And finally, I want to mention Memory Recovery. Memory Recovery is a file that can help you recover memories that were blocked by hypnosis. Some people will tell you to forget things, and this can help you to remember. Thank you for listening, and I hope that these guidelines will give you some help, some direction in how to protect yourself. Because remember, your mind is your responsibility. Thank you.